Hi, you guys. It's Friday, November 13th, 2020. My name is Doris, and this is the Knit and Purl Podcast, episode 210. You can find the show notes for this podcast on knitandpurl-doris.blogspot.com. The Purl is Pearl. In social media, I am One Fine Cow, all spelled out on Ravelry and Twitter. I am One Fine Design, the number one, on Facebook and Etsy, and I am Doris M. Smith, all lowercase and smooshed together on Instagram. This podcast has a Ravelry group, which is the Knit and Purl Podcast group. You do not have to remember all of that stuff because in the down bar below, there are links to the show notes, links to the Ravelry group and to my Etsy store. If you click on the show notes, at the top of the show notes, below the video insert are all the links to the social media, all clickable links. You can go and click and follow me there, and I'll follow you back, and all of that stuff. Every podcast, I do a birthday shout out for the Ravelry group, and this time it goes from November 1st to November 15th. There are 4 birthdays. The first birthday is Mommy of 8. Her birthday was on the 7th of November. Chameleon Crafter, her birthday was on the 9th. And Owl Stitch, I don't know if it's a her or a he. Their birthday is on the 14th, tomorrow. And last but not least is Deb's Destiny. Her birthday is on the 15th of November. Happy birthday, you all. I hope that you, in this crazy time, had the ability to have a wonderful birthday that got celebrated, that you got celebrated for your birthday. I hope that you got good gifts, that you got the opportunity to spend time with friends and family. And that you had your version of a birthday cake. Thank you guys. Happy birthday. And if it was your birthday during this time and you don't share that information with Ravelry, happy birthday to you as well. So that brings us to Story of the Week and Stash Enhancement. It's been 3 weeks since my last podcast. And you won't really be able to tell there's an extra week by my foes. A lot of distractions this week. I did get some new stash. However, I'm not going to be able to show it to you because it's a secret Christmas project. And the person it is for watches the podcast. So there you go. So I'll show it to you when I'm able to. Work is still very low. In the last 2 weeks, I have worked half days for only 4 days of that week. That's why I'm off today and I'm podcasting in the morning because there was no work for me. What else? I'm trying to follow my notes. My tests continue to be negative, and starting next week we will be tested twice a week because the cases are up. We do have active cases, and I don't think I've worked directly with active cases, but I've been on the hall of active cases. I have you wear your PPEs and you wash your hands, and God is good. The people that are positive cases in the facility I'm working at are not severe cases, no hospitalizations. Yeah, it's good. It's all good. This next part I want to share could be controversial to some, but I'm going to share my story. So the first time I voted for a presidential election was 40 years ago in 1980. I voted Democratically because that was just the family thing. And I was very disheartened and upset that my candidate didn't win. But so I never voted again. But this year I voted. I got up early. I went to the polls. We stood in line in the cold for an hour. I was a total of an hour from the time I drove in, got my spot in line, and voted and got back in my car. It was an hour. I went first thing in the morning, like when the polls open at 6. And then things got a little fishy and crazy. That's all I'm going to say, except I feel very disheartened about the prospect of voter fraud. I'm reading my notes because I don't want to get off into a tangent. I feel very disheartened with the prospect of voter fraud and the mainstream media pushing a false narrative. I want to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that my vote mattered. I want to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that your vote mattered. And I hope that if there was fraud, that it is uncovered and punished to the fullest extent. If it's allowed to go on, we'll never have another honest and fair election. And it doesn't matter if you're happy or not happy with the way things turned out in the election. We should all want to know that it was fair and that it was legal. We're Americans. Our Constitution is dependent that it's fair and legal. So let's move on. I'm sorry if I offended people, and I hope that I prayed and just felt the need to share my opinion, such as it is. So let's just get into the knitting. I have some finished objects, not a lot, but some finished objects. So the first thing is the Feeling Festive Shawl, which is a free pattern on Ravelry by Kalisha Ryan. I did a stash bust. I just got all scrap yarns and one Skein Wonders and a J hook and made this. The last time you saw it, I was like, I thought I had gonna need another skein, but I just finished this ball and then I felt like it was big enough. I told you all the things. So the yarn, this was leftover. This was some leftover. I'm pretty sure it's all acrylic. This is some I Love This yarn, about 3/4 of a ball. And it's Belladonna, I think. This was some Yarn Bee rainbow type thing, and this was some I Love This yarn in neon pink. I love it. It was fun. It was a fun pattern to crochet. I used, okay, the pattern calls for DK or fingering. I used worsted weight and a needle size that got the gauge I wanted. And it's big and lovely and warm. I love it. I'm so glad I found my crochet love again because I really enjoy it. I just like it. I like it a lot. So, and yeah, this is going to be something warm to wear when I'm a little chilly. So that's that. Melissa gave me this bag of yarn. I'll just go and get it. She said, "You want it?" Because I don't like heavyweight yarn, And so a friend of mine gave me this. So, I mean, there's some that, this is just Red Heart Super Saver. I know what that is. This is some Thick and Quick. I mean, there's like, that's what is in here. It's like all big Thick and Quicks and some, this is like some homespun. I don't know what I'll do with it. But and this is the last little bit. I believe this yarn was, I love this yarn. Stripes. Anyway, I'm showing it to you. I knit a hat. I knit a nice and knit beanie, and it was gifted, and I didn't take a picture. So that's one finished object. So anyway, I got this big bag of bulky-ish yarn that Melissa didn't like. I don't know what I'll do with it, but I did do something with it. I knit 2 hats. One you will see, and the other one, I'm sorry, but it's gone. Louise liked it, and I gave it to her. So, oops. So, the first hat I knit was a Thick and Quick. Pink, of course. Of course, I'm going to pick the pink yarn first. The pattern I used for this is the coffee beanie, which is a paid pattern on Ravelry by, spell check. It's, I think it's Justina Schrock. I actually used the stitch count and the decreases in the pattern. I didn't do, obviously, put coffee on here, but I just used the stitch count and the decreases of that pattern to make this hat. It's lovely. Ooh, it feels so good. Anyway, it's going to be one of those hair days. I also did another nice and knit. These were distractions and instant gratification projects that I just needed during this time. So this one is a nice and knit, which is a free pattern. It's linked in the show notes because I couldn't find it on Ravelry. So I just typed in nice and knit and beanie and found it right away. But anyway, it's linked in the show notes. And this is just some everyday basic from Walmart, variegated, that I had and I wanted to use up. So I made this hat and I finished it with a little coaster granny square. Yeah. So that's how I'm just like, let me get this yarn out of my stash. What can I do to get this yarn out of my stash? So that's what I did. That's some of the stuff I've been working on and the finishes. Okay. Works in progress. I did like 1 or 2 rows, not even, probably just 1 row of the virus. I'm not going to show that. The Hitchhiker, I did get some work done on it. I wish it was finished, but it's not. So, yeah. Hitchhiker is a paid-for pattern on Ravelry by Martina Bem. The yarn I'm using is some Willow Wills in the, what is the name of this color? In the Cosmos color. I'm just going to knit this until the yarn is gone. Do I need to tell you? I'm using a US 6, my Knit Pro Zing interchangeable needles. Okay. There is where I was. I have completed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the 6 pattern repeats since you last saw it. So here's what we have. like I said, I plan on just knitting until the yarn is complete. And then I'll have a nice little shawl to wear during the dark winter. Yeah. I'm gonna put that back in there. And did I say my Knit Spin Farm bag? I don't know that she's doing bags anymore. She's doing yarn and stuff like that, but yeah, nice bag. Okay, what is next? The vanilla sock. This should be done, but it's not because distractions. I am at the point where I'm ready to insert or start the toes, but I've been distracted and I want to be present when I do it, and I haven't been. So I'm just going to show you. I have a sock ruler, and according to my size, I should knit 7 inches before I insert the toe. Can you see that? Yeah, that's where I am. The problem with this is that I tried on this one. It doesn't fit well. It doesn't fit well at all. I think it's too short. So I'm going to put the toe in this, finish it, try it on, and then I'm probably going, if it fits perfect, then I did something wrong with this. And I'm going to rip back the toe, knit a little bit more, and put the toe back on. I've never done that before. That'll be quite the adventure. We shall see. Hopefully I will stick to it and not just give it away because it doesn't fit me. I want it to fit.
I'm sorry.
Oh. Siri thinks I was talking to her. The Turtle Dove 2, which is a free pattern on Ravelry by Espastrico. The yarn I'm using is Ice Yarn Paris in the black, turquoise, and fuchsia color. Here's what the yarn looks like. I am using US 7s and 9s, which is what the pattern calls for, and worsted weight yarn. I'm using 40-inch circular needle. I started it on 10/7. It's already been a month. I did make a lot of progress this past 3 weeks. It should be done though, but it's not because distractions. Okay, so let me get this. It's big. It's big. I separated for the sleeves and I'm knitting down the body. And we have a lot of pooling and craziness happening, but it's my sweater and I don't care. I love it. And if you can see, since, ooh, all the sparkles, all the glorious sparkles. Let me see where where is it? Ah, here it is. Here is where I was the last time you saw it, and I finished the raglan and started down the body. I'm going to do a couple more inches, then I have a whole other 10 skeins of yarn. This is the first bag. So I have plenty, so I can go down, make it a little bit bigger, and maybe even make it where I can wear leggings under it, where it covers my booty, you know. So I have to be honest about this yarn though. I love it. But man, you guys. I'm just going to show you all of the yarn tails because this yarn has so many knots. So many knots in it. So, not every ball has so many knots in it, but it's a lot. It's a lot of knots. A lot of knots in this yarn. Not every ball has a knot in it. The majority of the balls have knots. That's all I'm going to say. But I love it. It's just going to be a lot of ends to weave in. So there you have it. Maybe the next time you see it, the body will be done. Maybe. We shall see. I think that's it. That's all I can show you. I still haven't finished that. I have to put back on the bobbin because this was buried and it needs to go in on the first bobbin. Maybe I'll do that today. We shall see. That's all I have for you today. So, thank you for coming by and spending some of your time with me. Thank you for your likes, your shares. Please comment. Let me know I'm not just out here talking to thin air. But that's okay, because this is my way of documenting what's going on in my knitting world. So thank you guys so much, and I will see you in 2 weeks for the next episode of the Knit and Purl podcast. Thank you, and God bless you all. Bye.